All right, so this is me walking from the car to fight 284. It was a daytime fight, which is unusual, but it's a festival fight, which are my favorites, and is to me like the real Muay of Thailand is rural. Can be in stadia, but festival fights make me really happy. Dog on the lawn there. That's very sweet. Daytime festivals are a little bit unusual, and the way that they differ from like a normal festival fight is just it's hot, which is also why daytime festivals are unusual, is that it's so hot. So markets and festivals and stuff tend to be at night in Thailand because it's just not as hot. But they're the same whether the festival is during the day or during the night. It's kind of the staples that you'll have are food stalls, bouncy castle, a stage show, which might be like, which is a opera, or might be singers, like popular music, and then a Muay Thai ring. Like these are the things that you are almost guaranteed to have at any festival. Muay Thai is very much a part of it. They have here a trampoline instead of a bouncy castle. It's a little bit lower rent. And over here, you can see that the Muay Thai ring is actually the biggest part of this festival. That's Sor.Jor, who's a fighter in the Golden Age. He's who set up this fight for me, and he's who's going to be cornering for me. He's lovely. I really adore him. He's from Briew, so this is like his stomping grounds. And that's his son, I think Champ is his name, who was going to help in the corner as well. But you'll just see they have fans right here, fans for rent because it's so hot. And then all these people sitting here are the families and gyms of fighters who are here to fight. Festival shows tend to have like tons of fights all in a row. Like if you go to a stadium, they'll have 6 to 10 fights as the whole show. In a festival fight, you'll have like 20 or 40, or it'll go for like 2 days. It's really amazing. They're very much a social glue. They tend to be held on temple grounds, and they often raise money for that temple. But temples themselves, especially in rural areas like up in Isan, they're kind of like central structures to the communities that are more spread out among fields and stuff. So you go to the festival as like a social event. It's a way for young people to kind of like mix and meet each other. There's obviously the food stalls and stuff. Everyone wants to go and get food, but it's a very like social networking thing for people to do, and kids grow up going to festivals. So whenever I fight with Sor.Jor, I never know what time I'm fighting. They do a little bit of a DJ thing. There's a naked kid behind us getting showered. This is kind of something that you'll see in Thailand a lot. Because it's so hot here, you'll see young kids taking baths kind of publicly in the middle of the day. Usually it's like near their house, but as you're driving around, you'll see it. I was getting up because I was supposed to go stand next to my opponent, and they wanted to like size us up. Her name was Nong Briew. Briew means like sour, which in Thai cuisine is like one of the main components of flavors, so it's not a negative thing to be sour. But this is us going up to get ready. So I'm up next, or the fight after that one. So you go up and you stand on deck. And when we get to this corner, I pointed out to Sor.Jor that I had no gloves. He was like, oh, we have to go get the gloves. This is something that normally the younger kids who are part of the gym, they're the ones who are kind of in charge of the massage, getting the gloves put on, kind of bringing you to your corner. That's kind of a like lower rank thing in the gym of who will be taking care of you. And lots of people recognized me up here. They'd seen me fight up in this area with Sor.Jor before, so they literally knew who I was. And then some other people were very surprised to see me there. I guess they'd seen me elsewhere. So here I think Sor.Jor is putting my gloves on, and this girl comes up and she's like, can I take a photo? And this kind of continued to happen while I was getting my gloves put on. And then when I came back out, it was mostly girls, which I thought was really sweet. It was like young girls wanted to come and take a photo with me. The first time that happened, I think I was fighting in Asan back when I was still at Lana Muay Thai, and it was like totally overwhelming for me. But Kevin has a great photo with this girl who's kind of like scowling at me. She also was waiting for a photo. I don't know why she has that expression on her face, but she was like waiting to ask if she could take a photo with me. Just has a bit of a severe face. But this girl who just took a photo, who has her hair in braids and she's wearing like a Muay Thai shirt, she's got Muay Thai shorts on, like she was gonna fight at some point in this card. Kevin got a really nice photo of this, of Turkey tying my glove. And when he printed it, it looks exactly like this photo that we have from my very, very first fight, where Master K is tying my glove, and I'm kind of looking in the same way. So if you go to my Facebook page or my Instagram page, I posted it. So them side by side, but my first fight and my 284th fight. This is one of the reasons I love festival fights. You see just this kind of like casualness of Muay Thai. All of the kids are always crammed up really close to the ring. If it's an evening show, there's many more gamblers that are kind of crammed up near the stage too. All these men are gamblers who are really close. And then you'll have the like families of the fighters. I was kind of stuck in after a number of kid fights, which made me really happy because I got to watch the kids, and you get all kinds of different levels. You get kids who are first starting out, you get kids who are astonishingly good for how tiny they are. This girl's aware of Kevin's camera. She's like doing like poses for him. Turkey is asking me whether my glove is too tight. He gets a little bit like overly concerned with my state because he has a Dermpan, which is a side bet on the fight. One, two, three, go. So here's me and my opponent coming in. Turkey had a side bet on the fight, which just means that each side puts in the same amount as each other and the winner takes all of it. When I went and was sized up with my opponent, her coach was like, oh, Sylvie's much bigger. So I was like, he was saying how much his girl weighs, and I'm like, that's what I weigh, so we actually, according to him, weigh the same. And she was taller than me, so I was like, yeah, it's nice to fight someone my size. When we're actually in the ring together in any of the photos that you see of us next to each other, we're not the same size. She was bigger than me by a good margin. It's possible that what her trainer was talking about was that she cuts to that weight, whereas I just am that weight, but size-wise, we're just not even the same size people either. It's amazing that when coaches are like, oh, Sylvie's bigger, I believe that I'm bigger, even though there's no visible, I have no idea what he was talking about. If he was trying to get in my head, it absolutely worked. This is something that's really big. You'll see this at Stadia. This is not only at festival fights, but these garlands are made from mali, which is like a very popular flower. It smells really nice. They put so many on us. I don't think I've ever worn so many garlands, but they're generally put on you by VIP, usually local government or officials or something like this. In Stadia, like on Phuket and in Chiang Mai, sometimes they'll bring audience members up to put them on you as a way to kind of like engage the crowd. But in this context, usually it's always people who are being honored by being the ones to come and put the garlands on you, and then they take a bunch of pictures. And they don't do this for every fight. This is kind of a way to draw attention to a certain fight. All right, so we're starting here with the Ram Muay. I learned my Ram Muay from Master K, my very first trainer in America. He's a 70-year-old Thai man training people out of his basement in New Jersey. He's now in his 80s. It's absolutely amazing. You'll see these kids all along the skirt of the ring. They put their arms out onto it. It's so amazing. I really love the atmosphere of festival fights. All of this is why it's my favorite. All this atmosphere, all of this culture, all of this kind of informality. Even though there is formality within it, there's ritual within it. But this is just kind of, to me, the like beating heart of Muay Thai in Thailand. You don't have to have a Ramoy when you first start fighting. Like, little kids don't have one. They'll start fighting before they learn one sometimes. Sometimes really, really little kids, it's important that they learn the Ramoy first, and so that's the part that they're really trained and good at, and then their fights are a little bit like, this is clearly their first time kind of thing. But it depends on you. I know a lot of Westerners, when they come to Thailand, they're very nervous about the Ramoy. You don't have to be amazing at it, that's fine. It is nerve-wracking because it's like a choreography that you have to remember, whereas a fight is like someone's trying to hurt you. But the Ramoy is a very important part of the tradition of Muay Thai in Thailand. It's honoring your teacher, which is important, and then it's also beautiful and warming up your body and kind of presenting a traditional element of fighting that is a softer side, rather than just being like, I'm gonna go and try to like make someone bleed, whatever the thing is that Westerners and kind of fight culture thinks about the brutality of Muay Thai. It's both things. Like, it is not only elbows and knees, it's also this kind of beautiful dance and honoring your teachers and things like that. If you don't do the whole Ramoy, which is like this whole dancing part, do the white crew part, which is where you bow to your corner 3 times. It was very, very hot. I think I fought at about noon, like a little after noon, so it was like the hottest part of the day. This kid down here has his hands wrapped, like he's totally gonna be fighting a little bit later, and he's just at the ring, like, watching. Sometimes I come up and watch fights before mine, usually not after mine because Kevin and I tend to leave, but I get way into the fights that are before when I go on. It actually makes me feel calmer watching Muay Thai before my fights. I've heard some people, when they're watching before their fights, they get more nervous because they're seeing people and like imagining the clash of the bodies and stuff like that. To me, it calms me down. It makes me feel more confident. So here we go. I started out kind of teeping and jabbing because that's something I've been working on in my training. I was just trying to stay close. Something that Turkiet had been saying to me before I went out is he's like, she's longer than you, so she's going to win on the outside, so you need to get a whoop, which means to defend yourself but kind of like pressure your opponent at the same time and stay close. So that was like the directive he'd given me, and I could tell right away that she was taller than me. She's fighting exactly the way that you would in round 1 and the way that you should against a Dern fighter, which is you kind of back up, try to control the distance, and then like tag as I'm coming in. She really, she didn't really have anything forceful to put on me. It's the first round, so like nobody's going to be going all out. I felt pretty comfortable at the distance I was staying at. I didn't feel like I was getting tagged by anything. She threw a lot of teeps, which was a good idea. I think I just threw an elbow there. And I was getting a little bit stopped by her teeps, but mostly, you know, walking through them as best I could. I wish I had like a cooler way to deal with them, like I'm batting it there. Maybe I need to work on making that more dramatic. There, I had to like go through 2 teeps. Got her into the clinch here. And he breaks us pretty fast, which we're against the ropes, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Again, it's round 1, like they don't let you clinch a lot in rounds 1 and 2 generally. So here was really good. As she was trying to knee me back in the clinch, I like trip her leg, her standing leg, and then I can land a knee into her kind of like off-balanced body. This was pretty significant. I could tell that this had like bothered her, and she starts staying way farther away from me than she had been, even when she was staying away from me earlier in the round. So that's round 1. I come back to my corner and they're like, this is all good. They're all very happy. This guy who's helping Turkiet, I don't know his name unfortunately, but he's been in my corner a number of times. I like his energy. He's very calm. They always tell me to just do what I'm doing, which is really nice. Sometimes I've had corners who want me to do things that just really aren't my style. Like they want me to kick a lot, or they want me to like have a certain jump lot or something that I'm like, I'll try, but you know, that's not really what I do. But I like when my corner is like, yes, what you're doing, do that, just do it faster, or do it harder, or close the distance faster, or something like that. It's a little bit of the like murmuring of the crowd. So I've been told basically do what you're doing in round 2, which is good. I wanted to stay even a little bit closer because I could tell she really hated being in the clinch with me. That was a nice kick on her part. I got her back with a left hook, but the kick wins in that exchange. So I just need to block those. There, I'm trying to throw my hook a little bit more. I need to learn how to set it up a bit. She got a little bit of a kick in there. It's close side. I tried to trip her in the clinch there, but she balanced herself and the ref broke us. You can see her bouncing her front leg like she's thinking more about using that teep because she had some success with it in round 1. That's one of the reasons I'm using the hop in with my leg in the air. So I had to work a little bit to get into a better position and wasn't scoring right away, but here I'm turning and scoring. So I got a few scores in there before the ref broke us. And I'm basically just trying to, one, score, but also kind of wear her down a little bit. This kind of fighter, when they want to stay away from you, you kind of need to tire them out because they get slower, and then you can catch them a little easier. That landed into her belly, and so I knew that was going to start taking the wind out of her a little bit. My corner's yelling at me a lot to stay closer, and I am getting in. There's an elbow from me. She really, like after I elbowed, she pushed me across, which was a very good move. I'm getting some knees in here that are damaging her for sure. And she's not defending herself, so the ref comes in and breaks it. He doesn't counter, he just broke it because it's like she's not defending herself, so he needed to kind of like reset the situation. But I come right back in, get a little bit more. I start doing that like standing leg pop so that I could bend her and get her in there, and then that's a good stoppage. She really wasn't able to defend herself while I was getting all those knees in, and she wasn't really doing anything to kind of counter that and get me back. I feel bad immediately after her fight. I came back over. This guy is bending down and looking at my shin because my shin had opened again. I have no idea when that happened. I must have checked a kick. I don't know when my shin opened. I was unaware that that was the case. But I come over and we immediately take pictures, and I never went to my opponent's corner. She got out of the ring really fast, which is understandable, but I feel really bad that I never went to her corner to get the water or to say sorry. They just gave me the dermpan. I didn't involve myself in that, so I gave that directly to the... I think I was saying that I had to go see the doctor because of my shin, but I'm going out that way because I had to go get my shoes. This is another thing. If you fight in a festival fight, keep track of your shoes because you don't wear them onto the stage when you do the catwalk out, so you have to leave them somewhere. Either leave them at your mat and like just walk around barefoot a lot, or leave them at the stairs wherever you get up, and then you're gonna have to go back and find your shoes at that. As I was coming out, because I came out from the stage because I had to get my shoes, lots of people were like, oh, D. They were all very happy. They're like, gang, very strong. So I was doing a lot of like handshakes and like, oh, thank you, as I'm making my way, which is a lovely energy to have immediately coming out of the ring, as people excited to have witnessed what they just saw. They like the way you fight. It was nice. It's my opponent back here taking her gloves off already. And I don't know that Kevin even knew that my shin had opened. He's following Turkey back to the mat because that's where I would be going. Now he's looking around. There I am. So I'm having my gloves taken off first. When you get stitched ringside, usually you take your gloves off first, and then you can go. So I'm letting Kevin know my shin opened again and pointing to it. He hadn't seen it either. I legitimately don't feel it at all. After you get the stitches, it hurts. It starts to ache a lot after. But here, it's actually the same spot that's opened a couple of times, and then it had an extra little slit. That's my kapua, the fight purse that I get. So I had Turkey give it to Kevin. Ring doctors tend to be really good. They work fast. At some places they'll give you an anesthetic injection, and at some they don't. I've had it offered to me and I've resisted it a couple of times. I've been like, that's fine, because to me it doesn't make that big of a difference up here. In the shin, it makes a pretty significant difference to have the anesthetic, whereas up here to me it doesn't really feel any different. I didn't get it in this one. She didn't offer it to me. It's a little bit of a is a cost, so it's not necessarily something that's offered at all of the fights that you'll be at. But someone on Reddit, I think, recently was saying they were very worried about getting stitches ringside. They're real doctors. They're doctors from hospitals. They do a good job. I'm just sitting here, and I actually was so excited to be watching these kids while I was getting stitched. I kept my mouthpiece in because it does hurt to be stitched a little bit, so I can bite down on it. So pro tip, keep your mouthpiece in when you're getting stitches because you might chomp on it. This guy in the black shirt and white pants came up. He was in the session of both Chayai and Cherry. If you guys go watch that in the Muay Thai Library. His name translates to Sesame. He was the guy who held pads for me and clinched with me. I was so happy to see him. He came up and he's like, "Do you remember me?" And I was very happy to see him. He's a very sweet guy, and he's like, "The minute I saw you grab her in the clinch, I knew it was done because I clinched with him." So he knows how I clinched, which was funny. These cute little kids. These kids in the corner are cheering for their, I don't know, 8-year-old fighter up in the ring. He was very tough. This is Thai culture. This is Muay Thai culture right here. These kids who, cheer so hard for their friend. I don't know if they're all fighters or if they're, schoolmates or whatever. This kid in the red side was having a really hard time, but his corner was, really cheering for him and stoked, and he finished the fight really strong. It was really good. So I don't think through the fault of this doctor, but these stitches did end up getting infected. So you might want to watch my run cast on how to avoid infection in stitches. This is the first time they've ever been infected, and I don't think it was her fault. So this is back at the mats. I went and rinsed off and changed my clothes. And Turkey always wants to walk me to my car. You don't have to do that. It's very nice. I love being invited up by him. And he and Yo Pan are very good friends. When they were very young, little known fact, they fought for the 108-pound Isan regional title. So Turkey and Yo Pan have been friends since they were probably 12 years old. And he was texting with Yo Pan the whole time. Because Yo Pan is my sparring partner, and so he wanted all the info on what did my opponent look like, how did the fight go, all this stuff. And instead of bothering me, he was texting with Turkey the whole time. It was very sweet. So because it was a daytime fight, Kevin and I got to drive home right after, which was really lovely. Usually we'll fight at 10 or 11 at night and then stay in a hotel and then leave early the next morning because I don't really sleep after fights very well. But this was totally, daytime fight, broad daylight, finish up, go home. Turkey is asking when we'll come up again, and I'm like, whenever you book a fight for me is fine. And then I do my post-fight update as we're walking towards the car, but this is just, midday festival stuff. There were these two girls who were painting ceramics as I came out of the bathroom from my rinsing off that wanted to take photos with me that I don't know where they came from.